Hi, welcome to my channel, Zen and Fit. If you're new to my platform, I discuss various topics from health and wellness to mental health, as well as lifestyle topics. So if this type of content sounds interesting to you, if you could please do me a favor and hit the like and subscribe button. I do want to thank my new recent subscribers. I have noticed there's been an increase in some people subscribing to the channel, which is much appreciated. So in today's video, I actually wanted to talk about family dynamics again. I know I have discussed this before in the past on this channel, but I thought it would be a good time to bring it up again. Now, for a lot of you who may have siblings, cousins, whatever the case may be, parents, whatever your families look like, maybe you've noticed, especially as you get older, let's say if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, whatever the case may be, you may start to notice the dynamics in your family, the unhealthy dynamics that may be present in your family. Maybe you notice that and I don't like to use the term black sheep because I don't like to equate negativity to the word dark or black or anything like that. So let's say you've noticed that you're the lone wolf in your family, where it always seems like your family members treat you differently in a negative way. They aren't as loving and supportive of you in comparison to some of your other relatives. Maybe let's say if we're taking it back to just looking at the immediate family, maybe you notice that your parents treated you differently from your siblings and you've always wondered why. Why is that? And I think that this topic is relevant because, in my previous videos, I talked about intimate partner abuse, domestic violence. And a lot of it for victims stems from your core beliefs, your self-worth. And some of that is learned within your family, your dynamics. And for maybe some of you growing up within your family, you notice that you aren't as loved, cared for, in comparison to some of your siblings in the household. And maybe from those experiences, you developed a core belief about yourself that I'm not as lovable, or I'm not worthy of love, or I'm not worthy of being treated right. You see how those dynamics can play out from childhood to adulthood. And so if you have grown up in an environment like this, understanding, giving yourself some empathy, some grace to heal from that. And if you are still around those family members who created hostility, had anger towards you, even maybe hatred towards you, really taking that in, taking heed of that. Because sometimes even as adults, we just kind of ignore those signs and we just continue moving forward, even though the dynamics have not changed within the family structure. I was recently watching a video on YouTube. I can't remember the name of the channel, but this young woman was discussing some of the hurtful things that her family members have said to her and how much she cares about them and, would give her life for her family, but she doesn't feel like they care about her in the same fashion as she does about them. And she talked about, eventually maybe having some boundaries for herself or setting some boundaries in the future when it comes to her relatives. And a lot of times, sometimes you really do need to establish boundaries when you notice that you have parents who don't treat you right, who are emotionally draining all the time, who constantly put you down, who question your accolades and your overall accomplishments in life. They just appear to be never happy for you. When you would expect, especially if it's a parent who's demonstrating this kind of behavior towards you, a lot of times in society we expect parents to be loving, nurturing, and caring. But this isn't always the case, unfortunately. Sometimes people grow up in households where they don't have that kind of healthy, supportive dynamic. And as you become an adult and you notice this, a lot of times those dynamics will not change just because you become an adult. And so that's where you can create change for yourself, where you start to identify and acknowledge those patterns, even though it can be hurtful to recognize that you have close relatives that don't care for you the way they should. But it's important for you to just identify that and say it out loud, because then hopefully you create some safe barriers for yourself when it comes to dealing with your relatives. It doesn't mean that you may cut them off completely, but you create some healthy boundaries for yourself so that you're not constantly getting hurt by them, especially emotionally, because it can be a significant letdown when you're constantly hoping that your family comes through for you. And I'm not talking about just financial, I'm just talking about just in general being a supportive person. And it's always a letdown for you. They're never there. They never have anything positive to provide for you. It's always like they're draining you emotionally and even physically. And so just realizing that dynamic, if you notice that within your family, maybe it's a sibling that is constantly maybe envious or jealous of you and always trying to tear you down. Maybe they're jealous that you got married, or that you went to college, or maybe that you started a business, or maybe you decided, hey, I want to become a plumber, the first female Black plumber in your family. And that sibling is jealous of that. Another example could be that you're living your best life as a single person, and your sibling is mad at you for that you're content with your life. You're happy with your life. So it doesn't matter what it is, but when you start to notice relatives, close family members who don't demonstrate being a loving, supportive individual in your life, you really need to take heed of that, recognize that. And it's unfortunate you're not the only person out there that is encountering dynamics like that. You're not alone in that. And maybe reshifting your mindset to first to understand that's who your family members are, and then maybe reshifting your focus to find supports outside of your family. Maybe your friends become more so your familial support systems. You know, sometimes that happens where your friends are closer to you and are your greater supports in life than your family members. It does happen. So finding what works for you. So that's why I just wanted to make a quick video just discussing this, because this is a common dynamic in a lot of families, not only in the United States, but across the world. You know, this happens, of course, in Black families, and I'm sure in other families as well. A lot of us have families or relatives, and sometimes it's not always easy. There's a saying, you can't pick your family, unfortunately, but understanding and identifying when things are not healthy in your family, that you do need to create some level of space, healthy boundaries, so that they're not draining you of your energy. They're not draining your spirit. Because if you don't establish any boundaries, they likely will. They'll drain you, drain your life, literally. Because when you're feeling emotionally down and drained from dealing with unhealthy family dynamics, it does affect your physical health. Your physical health and mental health go hand in hand with one another. And you deserve better. And it's recognizing that. So I look forward to reading any comments that you may have in regards to this topic. Of course, you can make multiple videos discussing this. But I look forward to reading any feedback you have. And until next time, I hope you all take care. And please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and also share my content with anyone you know of that may be interested in this type of content.